right, we've got a big crowd here on set. Let's talk closing the border, and if that were enough, unleashing Elon Musk. Joining me now to talk about it, Sean Duffy, co-host of The Bottom Line, right here on fabulous Fox Business, plus Deroy, Murdock, Fox News contributor, and Batya Ungar-Sargon, journalist, author of Second Class. I want to play some tape. This is for J.D. Vance on the Sunday talk shows about closing the border or something. Yeah, let's play the immigration first. Go ahead.
If you deport a lot of violent criminals, and frankly, if you make it harder to hire illegal labor, I think you go a lot of the way to solving the illegal immigration problem. Well, I think it's interesting that people focus on, well, how do you deport 18 million people? Let's start with 1 million.
Yeah, let's start with one, but let's get the criminals first. What do you think of that, Batya? Is he on message?
This election cycle is not about left versus right. You have Donald Trump running on protecting working class jobs and Kamala Harris running on, freedom, right? Vibes of freedom. You have half of the country which can afford to vote based on vibes and joy. And you have the other half of the country that is struggling to feed their families. And there is no issue that distinguishes these two halves of our nation, the college-educated elites and the working class, like immigration. Because, of course, immigrants come here and they compete with working-class Americans for jobs and bring down the wages of working-class Americans. Illegal immigrants.
Legal immigrants would be a whole different story. Because they'd have to pass a credit test. They'd have to pass a point test. They'd have to show that they have a job. I just want to clarify this because I'm a strong believer in legal immigration. And the Trump administration, first time around, had a very good point system, like successful places like Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, for example, who really do a better job in immigration than we do. It's the illegals that are doing so much damage on crime, lack of public safety, and I think also they are taking wages away illegitimately.
Yeah,
I'll give you one more pass at it.
Well, I have to say, when you talk to working class Americans, they want much less immigration, period.
Okay.
Legal and illegal.
Okay.
Why, Larry? Because it's the law of supply and demand. The more you have of something, the cheaper it is. And the less you have of something, the more expensive it is. And we want labor to be expensive. We want working class people to have middle class lives.
No. Okay, fine. Deroy, though, I would say we could take 1 million a year in legal immigration. We've done that for a long time. But on this case, I think J.D. Vance, now, I guess you tell me, Kamala is now, it is whispered that she's going to be tough on immigration, and she blames Donald Trump for the immigration problem. What do you make of that?
This is life in upside-downistan. To have Kamala Harris saying she's tough on the border and that Donald J. Trump is the open borders guy. This is 180 degrees opposite reality. She's had 3.5 years to shut down the border as the border czarina. She's done exactly the opposite. 10 million people have broken into this country. They have no right to be here. My mother and father came to the United States from Costa Rica in 1962. Guess what they did? They went to the U.S. Embassy in San Jose, Costa Rica, and they filled out something called a visa application. If you fill out a visa application and you are healthy and crime-free and you're able to work, great. We'll bring you in. And you can enjoy the American dream and contribute to the American dream. If you break into this country, you have no right to be here, and you ought to be deported, just like Obama did with 5.3 million illegal aliens who he booted out of this country.
He was tougher.
He was tough. They call him the deporter in chief.
Yeah, I remember
He's done it before. Sean should do it again.
Sean Duffy, the other issue is, I think J.D. is on message here, and I think it would be wise also to talk about deporting criminals first. In other words, break through the sanctuary city wall, allow the local cops to cooperate with the border authorities, and go after the criminals that are literally killing people from this illegal wave.
Because that's a focus on something that everybody agrees on, right? If you talk about the point system, usually good people with good opportunities for jobs come into the country. We don't normally allow criminals into the country. And these are the ones that are ravaging our streets. You see them in New York City and cities across the country that are punching people, driving around on these motorcycles, robbing people from their purses, with their purses. We want those people out of the country. But this also comes, you're right, on crime. It's on wages, but also on housing. You've talked about this a lot, Larry. It's driving up the cost of housing as well. So illegal immigration is also fitting in with inflation as well. And I think if Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are better focused, not on the name calling, but on actually the policy issues that can impact people's lives, make them better. And Kamala Harris can laugh and she can talk about all kinds of things. But if you talk as a candidate about what I care about and my family cares about, I'm going to vote for you.
I think so. Don't go personal. Just don't call her stupid. We're talking about that with Kellyanne. It's just. First of all, I don't think Kamala's stupid. Never said that. What is wrong here is she's wrong, and she's wrong-headed, and she's wrong direction. I mean,
but the voter can make up their own conclusion about whether she's smart or stupid.
Well,
you don't have to lead them there. They'll look at her and what she says and how she laughs and can't answer questions. They'll make up their own mind.
Well, okay. I don't think he needs to tell her that. I do think he needs to emphasize his record on these matters. For example, he had illegal immigration down to 500,000 a year, which is the lowest in a long time, Batya. This is something that Biden and Harris could only dream about, frankly.
Donald Trump was the first American president in 60 years to shrink wealth inequality in America, which is something no one wants to talk about because the free market right doesn't really care about it, and the left doesn't want to give him credit for it. Donald Trump shrank the wage gap between the working class and the college-educated elite.
That's what free markets do.
They do.
That's
he didn't do it with the free market, though.
If you cut tax rates and let people keep more of what they earn,
Batya has to go to Larry's economics class.
The thing is so great. I love having her. She's almost there, but she doesn't quite. You know what I mean? She's
close.
She's still got to get through the second half of the book.
She makes a great point.
Tariffs are not free market. I'm sorry.
We didn't do tariffs, we did reciprocity. By the way, the guy sitting next to you was the House member that coined the Reciprocity Act, which Mr. Trump is actually stealing right now. Let me move on. I want to talk about Elon Musk to the rescue. He's going to he's going to register or produce another 800,000 votes because he's spending a fair amount of money. Essentially, this is his version of Zuckerbucks, just to make it simpler. You know something about this, I'm told?
Well, so first of all, in Wisconsin, we had
If you don't make it up, it's okay.
Zuckerbucks had a huge impact on our elections. Zucker went into Democrat-leaning areas and was able to get the county information about who had registered, who had voted. Really powerful if you want to drive Democrat voters to the polls in a swing state like Wisconsin. Elon Musk is going to do it differently. You have low propensity voters that probably lean Trump, that Elon Musk is going to focus on and bring them to the.
Pull them out.
That's right.
That's it.
And also encourage voters to vote early. Right, to do it legally, but whether it's, go to the polls, get those votes cast early on. So on election day, if a water main breaks or if machines go down, you've already cast your ballot. And I think those two things are going to have a big impact.
I am so impressed that you actually speak in terms of the low propensity voter. And this is part of the jargon that needs more ventilation and visibility.
It does.
Because actually it's going to be the key. And if you read the campaign documents, it's from the Atlantic magazine news article, long article about La Civita and Susie Vall. This is what they talked about. You're exactly right. Deroy, what do you think? Can Mr. Trump depend on Elon Musk? A big story in the Wall Street Journal today. Huge feature story. What you make of it?
Elon Musk has control of one of the best technological platforms in the world. Huge, enormous reach. I think what Trump ought to do is get back on X. I mean, he's got Truth Social, which is terrific. He can put stuff out there.
Just not today, recently.
Yeah, I mean, he ought to get back on, just reopen his X account, former Twitter account. Instantly, you'll probably have 60, 70 million people.
Well, he's doing it.
He's
doing it.
Get back on there and be on there all the time.
Batya, do you know who Elon Musk is? You've heard of Elon Musk.
Something about cars.
He was an illegal immigrant. No, I was just kidding.
Can I make one other? You got to go, Larry.
I got to get out.
20,000 gun owners in Wisconsin that didn't vote in the last election.
Wow.
They come out
I know. Low propensity voters.
And Donald Trump would.
Our side has to show up.
You win the prize. That's great stuff. Batya, Ungar-Sargon, Deroy, Murdock, Sean Duffy. Thanks ever so much.